Hey everyone from the Breakthrough Fitness team. We are so excited you're joining us for your at-home workout today. We created this workout with many of you in mind, knowing that you have different equipment at home or maybe injuries or health conditions. So Matt and Kayana are going to be demonstrating the same style of workout, but with two different exercises to give you some options, and you are welcome to follow along with what you have at home. We're going to get started with upper body, and the first muscle group we're going to work is your chest. So some options for that are push-ups or a dumbbell chest press. So Matt is going to demonstrate push-ups while Kayana grabs some dumbbells. You can do a dumbbell chest press on a bench or an exercise ball, but if you don't have those things, but you do have dumbbells, you can lie flat on the floor to do the chest press. For a push-up, you can put your hands underneath your chest and either do them from your knees or you can do them from your toes. Both exercises, you want to lift the weight. So in the dumbbell instance, it would be lifting the dumbbells up in 2 seconds. In the push-up, it would be lifting your body weight up in 2 and then down in 4. Going nice and slow off the bottom, not using any momentum. We want to make sure that you're getting as big a range of motion as you can. So Matt's going nice and low to the floor. Kayana's just tapping her elbows on the floor. If she were on a bench or a ball, she could get even deeper. Both these exercises, we're trying to push through your chest. So we're going to make sure we keep those starts nice and slow off the bottom as you get tired. Try not to speed it up at all. If you need to switch up the variation as you get tired, like Matt did, you can do that. And then if the weight you picked is too heavy, you can always drop down to a lighter dumbbell. When you're done with the exercise, I want you to finish with a 10-second negative if you can. So I'm going to have both of these two demonstrate that. We're going to go down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so hopefully that got you in the 8 to 12 rep range. You want to pick a resistance that's going to be difficult for that 8 to 12 reps. And we're going to keep that going throughout this entire workout. So next up, we are going to have Kayana demonstrate a dumbbell tricep skull crusher. So she's going to switch out her weights for some lighter weights and put one small weight in each hand. Matt is going to choose a band to do a tricep kickback. So Matt is doing mostly body weight, or if you have some long bands, many of us have long bands from different PT, or they're a little bit more accessible. Kayana's going to lay back on her mat flat. Matt is going to be standing and stepping on the band. These are both working tricep. So Kayana is going to put her elbows up straight over her shoulders and then just bend at the elbow all the way down, just past her head, and then extending back up. Matt is going to lean over. You can either put both your feet together or a slightly staggered stance, whatever's more comfortable to you. Pull your elbows up and then extend straight back. As you can see, just like Matt, you want to put enough tension on the band so that you're working the tricep, making sure you're standing with good posture. Again, you want to pick a resistance that you can get between 8 and 12 reps, and you're challenged in that 8 to 12 rep range. And we're always going to end with a 10-second hold or a 10-second negative, depending on the exercise. So we're going to let these guys get a few more reps so they're in that 8 to 12 rep range. Good. Matt's starting to hit fatigue, so we're going to have him hold. If you want to join us for the hold, you can. Kayana's going to go down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. So that should have gotten you in the 8 to 12 rep range. Next up, we're going to work your back muscles with a row. So Matt is going to demonstrate how to do a banded row by sitting on the floor. You can also do this standing if you have something to anchor your band to. Kayana is going to do a dumbbell row kneeling on the floor. You can also do this kneeling on a bench, a couch, a chair, whatever you have access to at home is a good option, or you can just do it kneeling. These guys are going to be doing One arm at a time for Kayana, and then Matt's gonna be using both arms at the same time, so he's gonna finish a little quicker. We're gonna pull back in 2 seconds, pause, and then down in 4. We're gonna have them get started. When you're doing the dumbbell row, you're gonna make sure your shoulder stays down and back, and then you're pulling from behind the shoulder blade. We're not gonna rest the dumbbell on the mat, we're just gonna pull it right back up. This is where if you have an elevated surface to do this on, it's a little bit easier to keep tension on the dumbbell. So Kayana's gonna go for 8 to 12 reps on each arm. Meanwhile, Matt is here doing the banded row, both arms working at the same time, pulling those elbows straight back. He's also keeping his shoulders down and back. We're working those muscles over the top of the shoulder blade, going nice and slow, both getting a good pause, so you're consciously squeezing the muscle and not just pulling that elbow up using momentum going through the motion. We really want to be in tune with your body. Once you hit 12, you're going to do a 10-second hold. For the dumbbell row, you want to do a 10-second hold on each arm. For the banded row, you just have to do one hold, both arms at the same time. And Matt is demonstrating the hold here on the dumbbell row. We're going to let Kayana finish up. As I said, this one is going to take just a little bit longer. So if you're following along at home and need to pause at any time, just pause the video to get through the repetitions you need and then resume when needed. Kayana's doing her 10-second hold here, squeezing behind the shoulder blade, not letting it go up into her neck at all. And as soon as you're done with that row, we're gonna go right into a dumbbell bicep curl. So Matt is gonna use the band, Kayana's gonna use her dumbbells. Matt's got both feet across the band, standing up nice and tall, elbows at the sides. Kayana's got her dumbbells here. We're gonna go palms up if you can. If that hurts your elbow, you can always go to a neutral grip, whatever feels best for you. Both of them are going up in 2, down in 4. And when they pull up, they are only going up so that they always have a small angle at the top of the arm and then a small angle at the bottom. The bicep is always under tension here. We're not sliding our elbows forward or backward. We're moving nice and slow, no momentum. This is another one. Make sure that you picked a weight that feels challenging. If you picked up too challenging of a weight, you can always get as many as you can in good form and then drop the weight down to a slightly lower weight. Usually we recommend dropping the weight 30 to 50% if you're doing what we call a breakdown set, so where you start with a heavier weight and then go to a lighter weight. That's a great way to get a really efficient workout in, especially if you have less time. Going heavier and then slightly lighter, still aiming for 8 to 12 reps total. So maybe 6 heavy, 6 slightly lighter. You can even do it with 8 and then 8, just trying to keep the volume a little bit lower. And we're gonna let these guys get just a couple more reps here. And when you start to lose form, or you hit 12 and you feel like you're going to lose form, we're gonna come down to a 90-degree bend and hold for 10 seconds. Let's finish this one together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. If that 10-second hold felt like I was counting too slow, that was a full 10-second count. We want you to try and reach that 10 seconds every time. Next up, we're gonna work our shoulders. So our options for that, if you do have a band, you can continue to use the band for the 3-way shoulders or dumbbells. What we're gonna do is we're going to stand nice and tall, 1 or 2 feet on the band. This one needs a little bit more range, so you might only need 1 foot on the band. We're gonna alternate between raising your arms up to the front. So we'll have them demonstrate up to the front. Good. And then we're gonna go to a 45-degree angle just to shoulder height, and then laterally out to the side. If you have any shoulder injuries, out to the side could be a little painful. You can just still keep a slight angle. And then we're gonna rotate that back. So out to the side 45-degree angle, and then the front. My goal for our clients is always to make it through 3 rounds of that, so 18 raises in total, making sure we're hitting all angles. You can see both of these two are just going to shoulder height. If going to shoulder height is painful, just use the range of motion that feels comfortable to you and try and work on that range of motion over time and improve it. These guys have made it through 2 rounds. On this 3rd round, we're gonna go through, and on our way back, we're gonna get 5-second holds at the end. So I'm gonna back up here and count these guys out. We're gonna do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And during your hold, try and keep your neck loose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and to the front. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job, everyone. Now, if you have a shoulder injury, we typically don't recommend doing an overhead press unless you know that it works for you. We're gonna have Kiana demonstrate a dumbbell overhead press. You can also do an overhead press with a long band if your band stretches far enough. But if you have a shoulder injury or your bands don't work, I'm gonna have Matt demonstrate how to do a band pull apart. This is to work a smaller rear deltoid muscle. So while Matt is getting ready here, he's gonna wrap the band around his hands, hold his arms straight out, and then pull straight back, working his rear delt. At the same time, Kiana's gonna show us how to do an overhead press. So you can do this seated or standing. Seated does offer a little bit more back support if you have a space to do it seated. Otherwise, standing's good. And then she's gonna hold a neutral grip or like a 45-degree angle, press straight overhead, up in 2 seconds, down in 4 seconds, making sure she's extending through the shoulder, not recruiting the neck or the trap muscles. Going nice and slow. Same thing here, going for 8 to 12. When she gets tired, she's gonna avoid arching back. We wanna make sure that overhead press stays straight overhead. We don't wanna be leaning or compensating with our low back. That is also how injuries can occur. Matt is just about done with his band pull aparts here. When you are getting tired, make sure you're not using your neck, and we're gonna get that 10-second hold with the band pulled all the way apart. Again, this is really strengthening the shoulder joint without putting as much pressure overhead. A good option if you have any shoulder injuries. And now Kiana's getting to the end here, and when she starts to feel fatigued, she's also going to end with that 10-second negative on the way down, making sure she's not using her neck, no momentum in any of the movements. Perfect. All right, hopefully your upper body is nice and fatigued. If it's not, because you have lighter weights at home, you can always go through that circuit again. But here at Breakthrough Fitness, we really focus on challenging time under tension, getting 8 to 12 reps, and then moving quickly through the workout. So if you picked a challenging weight and you're feeling good, you can move along with us to lower body. And we are gonna start by working the hamstrings. So we have 2 options for you to do that. We're either gonna start with a small band, doing a small band leg curl, and Matt is gonna show how he puts that on by looping it around the arch of one foot and then all the way through the band of the other foot so it's anchored around his heel. Then he's gonna flip onto his stomach and use the band that is around the arch of the foot as the anchor and the band where it's around the heel as the working leg. And he's gonna pull that heel straight back, working one leg at a time, making sure the heel tracks straight towards the glute, just isolating the hamstring. At the same time, we're gonna have Kiana demonstrate an RDL, that stands for Romanian deadlift. She is gonna hold, she's got a kettlebell here. If you don't have a kettlebell, you can also use 2 dumbbells, whatever you have at home. They both work great. The important part is that we're using good form. So she's gonna demonstrate a couple of reps straight on, and then she'll turn to the side. With the RDL, your feet are gonna be shoulder width apart, and then we're gonna put a small bend in the knee, small bend in the hips, and then all the movement is coming from her hips. So she's keeping her shoulders down and back, sending her hips straight back, and then as she comes up, bringing her hips forward, squeezing her glutes. So on the way down, she should feel a good stretch in her hamstrings. And then on the way up, she's coming up nice and slow, activating her glutes to really maximize your gluteus maximus. That's how that works. And then if you feel your low back working, that's totally normal, but you should not feel a strain here. Now, if she turns to the side, you can see that as she's sending her hips back, her spine stays nice and long. We shouldn't be rounding the spine at all. If you start to feel your spine rounding, try pulling your shoulders down and back. A lot of times we'll try and get extra range of motion by rounding our shoulders forward. That is a compensation pattern. On this, I'd rather have you use a smaller range of motion and really activate the whole posterior chain. And again, trying to pick a resistance that feels challenging for 8 to 12 reps, but we don't want to overdo it. This is the first lower body exercise. And when you're finished, you're just going to set that down with good form. Matt is on to his second leg over here. Again, going for 8 to 12 reps with a 10-second hold. He's really isolating his hamstring. You want to keep your ankle loose, and then as well as not rotating your hips to get your glute involved. While Matt finishes up his leg curl, we are going to have Kiana start showing us how to set up a squat. So if you're not done with your leg curl, you can pause the video. Kiana is going to use that kettlebell again, actually. And then if you don't have a kettlebell, again, you can hold 2 dumbbells or just body weight. And the difference between an RDL and a squat has a lot to do with what body part is moving and your foot position. So for our squats, she's going to stand with her feet a little bit wider, and her toes can even be turned out a little bit, just like that. And then when she goes to pick up the kettlebell, she's going to bend at the knees and the hips. So we're really making sure the movement is coming from the whole body. Matt is going to demonstrate doing a kettlebell squat, just holding some light dumbbells, but you can also just do this body weight. But this is just showing how you can do squats holding on to weights with whatever variation. Great. So we can see that Kiana is now using a little bit of knee bend. So the last exercise, we kept the knee bend, but there wasn't movement there after we got started. Now we want to make sure we're dropping both at the knees and the hips. You can see both of these are using just a little bit of forward lean in the spine. So the spine is still long, but don't feel like you have to keep your body upright perfectly. We want to make sure that we have the natural curve to the spine. And then their foot pressure, they're not leaning onto their toes or way back in their heels. We're really mid-foot solid pushing up so we can generate a lot of power. And when we're done with the squat, we're going to end going down in 10 seconds and kind of hit that midpoint where we can also hold on to. So you can also go down and hold about halfway down if you want to finish really challenged. Just like that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Excellent. All right. Next exercise we're going to do is a glute bridge. And this, you don't necessarily need any equipment. We have a few different variations. Both these two are going to lay flat on their back. I'm going to have Matt demonstrate 2 legs on the floor. He's going to keep his abs engaged, drive through his heels, and just slowly lift up off the ground. Kiana is going to lift up, but she's going to lift up 1 foot and keep that foot in the air and demonstrate a single leg glute bridge. So here's variation 1. If you find that variation 1 is a little easy, but going 1 leg is too hard, I'm just going to have Matt show if you go up, you can either just pick up a heel or the whole foot, whatever feels good to you, and then put it back down and drop back down. So you can kind of pick up a foot, put it down, whatever variation that's kind of a middle. If single leg is still feeling really easy for you, you can also put a dumbbell across your hip to challenge you more. Whatever variation you choose, I want you to end with a 10-second hold. So if you're doing 1 leg, 10-second hold on each leg. If you're doing both legs on the ground, end with the 10-second hold at the top. If you're alternating, you can decide if you can try and hold for 10 seconds on a foot. If that feels too challenging, that's okay. We're all about just trying to make small improvements over time. So find what variation feels good. Make sure you're actually squeezing the glute in your hold. And these guys are just finishing up their holds here. Hold for that 10 seconds at the end. And once you are finished, we're gonna go right into working your gluteus medius. So the glute bridge is gluteus maximus. We're working in hip extension. Kayana's gonna stay on the ground, and she is gonna demonstrate how to do an abductor leg raise if you have a small band. If you don't, you can do what Kayana's gonna do without the band. If you have the small band, you're gonna do band walks. So she's gonna put this just above the knees and then lay on her side. Her bottom leg is gonna be bent and her top leg is gonna be straight. Matt's gonna put the band around his ankles and be standing. So Kayana is gonna pull her toe back towards her and then lift that top leg straight up towards the ceiling, pausing at the top and then down nice and slow. And she's gonna feel the glute kind of right in the side. Matt's gonna put a small bend in the knees and the hips and then take a nice big lateral step. And then he's just gonna stop when he gets to the edge of his mat. But you can go all the way one direction and all the way the other. When we're doing band walks, I typically recommend our clients go at least 20 steps each direction. Kayana's gonna do her 8 to 12 reps and end with a 10-second hold. Matt doesn't have any holds in his variation here. He's just gonna go back and forth across his mat 10 times because he's only taking 2 steps at a time. But if you have a whole room or a basement that you're working out in to go across, feel free to go all the way in one direction and then all the way the other. Doesn't really matter. As long as you're feeling both glutes work, that is our goal. And you wanna make sure you're feeling both glutes work evenly. This is a muscle that we see big imbalances in a lot here. And these variations are also really great if you're someone who struggles with knee pain, hip pain, low back pain. Working the glutes is a great way to get blood flow as well as strengthen up around the pelvis to make sure that we're keeping all of those areas in alignment when we're up and about walking, doing daily activities. All right. Matt's counting his laps on his fingers so he doesn't lose track. Good. And you can see both of these two are still moving really slowly, not moving using any momentum. So Matt's not skipping side to side across his mat. He's still taking his time, getting those glutes to activate. Kayana is keeping nice, slow, smooth starts off the bottom, feeling the burn. In this variation, the second side usually feels more difficult than the first side because both are working. So just be aware of that if you feel that. If you do this workout more than once, start on the opposite side the second time. All right, so we worked a lot of single joint movements. We're gonna end with a multi-joint movement in a lunge or a split squat. If you have the room to do a walking lunge, you can also do that. Kayana is going to demonstrate a stationary lunge holding on to weights. So if you have weights, you can kind of load up your stationary lunge and make it really, as heavy as you'd like to make it. If you don't have weights but want a lunge to be more difficult, you can put your back foot up on an elevated surface. So for example, we don't recommend this, but you could put your foot up, on a dumbbell. I would recommend using like a stable surface, like a couch. Matt's gonna just do a stationary lunge body weight so he doesn't fall over. Oh, good. Creative thinking on the spot. So Kayana is doing a little bit heavier stationary lunge. Matt's got body weight, but he's getting a little bit deeper. That's the point of elevating this back foot. So if you are struggling to get all the way down on a stationary lunge, then I would start here, and then you can go up to a split squat. You can also, as I said, do a walking lunge if you have the space in your home to do that. When you're lunging, make sure your front foot is out far enough so that your knee stays over your heel and you're pushing through the heel of that front foot. And then your upper body, again, is mostly upright. You can have a very slight forward lean, but we don't want to be hunched over. We want to stay nice and tall. I want you to make sure your abs and your glutes are activating. If you're not activating your abs and your glutes, you'll lean forward. And then I want you to end with a 10-second hold on each side for this. And then you're going to switch legs. So 8 to 12 reps on one side, and then 8 to 12 on the other. If you're doing a walking lunge, you can alternate your steps. That's a great option. So these guys are just starting their second side. Again, making sure that once you switch sides, your knee is over the heel of your foot. A lot of people start too narrow because they're worried about falling over. If you're worried about falling over, put the weights down, hold on to a stable surface, and then we'll make sure that you get that form right before we add weight. If lunges in general don't feel good on your body, you can switch these out for squats, or a wall sit is another great option. And once you hit 8 to 12 and you're feeling challenged, we're going to try and end with a 10-second hold. Remember that 10-second hold should be hovering just above the floor. And once you are finished, you can set your equipment down. And we are going to finish with some abs and back exercises here. So Kayana is going to demonstrate just the good old-fashioned plank. She's going to start with a front plank. Matt is going to demonstrate abdominal leg raises. Both of these are great options. We're just giving lots of abdominal options because we like variation. So I'm going to start a 1-minute timer here for Kayana, and she's going to go. She's going to make sure her elbows are under her shoulders, her hips are down and in line with her shoulders and her feet. And Matt is demonstrating leg raises. He went right into the hardest variation here. He's doing both legs together. He's making sure his abs are engaged so his back stays pushed into the floor. If this gets too hard and his back starts coming off the mat, he can switch to dropping just one foot down at a time. And then if this still feels too difficult, he's going to bring both knees into a bent knee, kind of reverse tabletop position. And you can do both legs together, bent knee, or single leg bent knee. And Kayana is finishing strong here. She's got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. And on the leg raises, Matt is showing that 10-second negative with the leg raise. Next up, that was working our mostly rectus abdominis. Now we're going to work our obliques, which are on the side. So Kayana's going to go for a 30-second side plank on each side. Meanwhile, Matt is going to demonstrate a torso rotation. You can do this body weight or holding onto a weight. I'm going to get Kayana's first side going. Again, her elbow is right under her shoulders. She's up on her legs, and then she's pushing her hips up towards the ceiling. Matt is balancing on his bottom, making sure he's got a slight lean back, and then rotating from the torso, going side to side. Kayana, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And if you're doing side planks with us, you're just going to flip right into that second side, and we'll get that timer going. 3, 2, 1, go. Again, elbow under shoulder, pushing the hips up. If holding on to the weight gets too hard, just set that down. We just want to make sure that we're doing the rotation slow and controlled, and we're not just twisting side to side from the shoulders. You can either do this with your feet on the floor or lifted up, whatever feels best on your back. And for our side plankers, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. I generally recommend for planks aiming for 20 to 30 seconds on each side and building up from there, and your front plank anywhere between 30 and 60 seconds, and just adding 5 seconds every time. And we always end our routines with a back extension. Both of these guys have the same variation going. You can put your arms out to the side in what I call kind of field goal post arms, or straight out. If you have neck or shoulder issues, you can put your arms back behind you like Superman if you prefer. There's that option too. The big thing here is we're lifting the chest and the legs off the ground without your arms, getting a good squeeze right through the lower back. So lifting up, here we go, and going back down. And it's just nice and slow, getting some blood flow, getting some strength to that low back to finish our workout. Especially right after abs, where we put a lot of force going forward. We want to go the opposite direction and add some balance in. Usually go for about 12 of these, ending with a 10-second hold. And there's no way really to make these harder at home with little equipment. We just want to make sure that we're getting blood flow. Matt's offering an option where you can do an opposite arm and leg raise if going up with both is too difficult. That can feel better for some low back activation as well. The big thing is we're activating the muscles between kind of the bottom of the scapula and the top of your glutes, and that's where the work is coming from. We're gonna all end together with a 10-second hold on your next raise. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, that was our at-home workout with various equipment. We hope you enjoyed it and were able to follow along. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you want more personalized home workouts, we at Breakthrough Fitness actually use a training app and can give you lots of videos like this with more customization right within our app. You can get started by booking a free discovery session, and we would love to show you how it's done.